This is the more like this isn't the Bronze Age. No, no, this is like fantasy. Yeah, it probably wouldn't take too long if I wanted to cross. Well, because I have to hit a temporal zone. Yeah, I've got magic. Yes, but again, it's the matter of when either of us cross that temporal zone, we are going to something is gonna snap, and it's gonna be much more. It's gonna be more even, aside from the adjustment period.
And good morning, everybody. How is everyone today? Good morning, afternoon, evening, day, night. Choose your time slot. That's the wonders of worldwide broadcasting, isn't it? Okay, we're going to wait a few minutes to get started. We should be getting rated shortly by Isaac Tom. I don't see anybody else here yet, and that's good. They should all be with Isaac right now. This gives me a chance to continue getting all set up and ready. I'm pretty much in good shape now, though, I think. One of these days I'm going to have to rearrange my green screen and my camera because I notice that most of the time I end up looking like I'm talking to somebody off on the side. What I'm actually doing is looking at the chat window. I need to move my camera so that it's sitting on top of the chat window. But that means rearranging my office a little bit, so I'll have to see how that works. And then you'll be seeing me looking like this when I'm doing my work. So we'll have to find a balance there somewhere. I need two cameras. Oh, so I have a lot of fun stuff planned for today. Today we will be... Look at that, I got another follower overnight. Mergendor joined overnight. Excellent. That's always fun to see. Maybe Mergendor will be joining us today. We'll find out. That just puts me 4 away from my goal of 100 followers. So today I'm going to be working on my Alliance Challenge article, but not. I mean, well, I will be running a bunch of sprints, but I'm not sure how much actual writing I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be working on a little bit of embellishment today. Some of that embellishment will involve playing around with these things, these diplomacy webs, and some of it will involve putting a map on this screen someplace. I'll have to find a good spot for that. Probably going to be somewhere right up here near the top. Put a little interest into the page. Then we'll see how things look, and then we'll figure out what other text I need. I'm certainly still not done writing. As you can see, I kind of ended mid-sentence here. From one of my sprints from last night or yesterday. So, and here comes the raid. Isaac Tom raiding with a party of 15. Get ready. Macaro, Isaac, Tillers, yay. Sudin is now following. You are number 97. That puts me just 3 away from my goal of 100, or at least my current goal of 100. 100 followers, that is. How is everybody doing today? Good morning, afternoon, evening. Choose your time slot. Today, Isaac, I got a chance to watch most of your stream. It was a fun stream as always. I don't think you got a lot of work done, but that's kind of the way I see it anyway. That's kind of the purpose of your stream. It was a great way to start my morning, though. I always look forward to, especially Tuesday mornings after a miserable Monday. Macaro feels like crap, trying to wrap up some work with a lot of effort. Well, maybe we can help you today. I am going to be doing a bunch of sprint work, but I'm not necessarily personally going to be doing a lot of just plain writing. What I want to do a little bit of this morning is a little bit of decorating of this article. Actually, Isaac, while I have your attention, maybe you can help with this fun little bit of CSS. If you look at this page, all right, we're in, first of all, this is in the global footnote section of the page, so that it's out underneath the sidebar. I don't have to worry about sidebars. And Kahuna was working with me on this, and we couldn't figure out what was going on. Before I put the image tags in to show the crests for each one of the organizations here, all the tops lined up nicely. What I actually have is there's a row container for each horizontal row, and then 3 col3 entries. All right, and they all line up beautifully until I put the crest symbols in, and as soon as I put the crest symbols in, I get this stagger effect. Now, I may actually just go with it. It's uniform. At least it's uniform, and it provides a little bit of visual interest, actually. So I'm not too upset about it, but it would be, this is one of those CSS questions that you kind of have to know the answer to, you know, because once it comes up, you'll need to see the BB code. I can do that. Sections, footer sections. We're in the full width footer. All right, and here for an example, we start a row. I start a row. Here's 1 column, 2 columns, 3 columns, ends the row. Now I've tried, I mean, I don't think these extra returns have anything to do with it. Let's just make sure. Watch, that'll make it go away. And that did make it go away. Huh. I could have sworn I tried that yesterday. If that's all it is, this is easy to fix. I was under the impression that the Euclid editor did not do a good job of handling non-explicit breaks, but apparently sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. Because now it's fine. Okay, that's wonderful. You can't have a full blank line. That creates the stagger. Oh, okay. All right. I know simple breaks at the end of paragraphs don't work. Euclid. Oh, it does look for a full blank line. Okay, that's good to know. I wasn't aware of that. Thank you very much. Okay, so that addresses that problem. Now, there's a few other, there are a few CSS things I want to play with. For example, I think I want to take, I'm not going to do it right now, but if somebody could answer the question, can I CSS the background rectangle of these into oblivion. You know, make them transparent or display none. Just a simple yes or no for now. Yeah, I should be able to make them go away, and then it would just be, I mean, I will need something underneath the text, but it would be nice to just have the shield kind of floating on its own for these things. I've got the 2 forms of webs up here. I will be playing with these later, filling in all the rest of the lines. But the very first thing I want to do today, while Isaac is off checking that CSS for me on the shield, the first thing I actually want to do is come into maps, and I need to create a new map. Oh, and wait, before I do that, I need to, oh, I can do it from here, that's right. I need to bring in a map file. I will pass on a description for now. And let's just get this map in. For those of you who were on my stream on Saturday, this is the map that I was trying to make then. As you can see, I have succeeded, finally. I promise on a future Sunday stream, I'm going to go back over this method, over the method for doing this. It was funny. Any of you who are on my stream on Sunday will know that you watched me torture myself through trying to basically bring up an image from another mapping program and use it as a template for my shorelines. And I was failing miserably for about a half an hour, and I finally gave up just so that I could get something positive done on stream. And I went back to it about 10 minutes after I finished up my stream, and it took me about 5 minutes to figure out what I was doing wrong. And 2 hours later, I had this map completed. So it can be done, and I will do it again, and I will demonstrate how I do it again. But just to show everybody real quick, this is the region in which my alliance sort of lives. It is more or less the country of Tierna Bay. I do not have the political borders on here, but they kind of run along this lake shore across to the coast on the far left side, and then down around. It kind of skirts around this big mountain, which I'll explain in a second, and it comes down to the jungle edge, basically here, and then includes all the way out over grabbing these cities. You know, the coast kind of, the border kind of, it's kind of nondescript. There's not a lot going on there, so it's one of these. The border is here somewhere. But we have, as you can see, there are several decent-sized cities around this sheltered body of water called Wolf's Bay. This is an excellent trading body of water. It's shielded by a couple of barrier islands. There's even a back bay kind of thing here. Wolf's Bay is the capital of the country. Okay, you figured it out. User CSS. Portrait frame, background, none. Should remove the background. The box shadow is still there. Let's call, you know what? I'm gonna get back to that in a minute. I just want to finish explaining this map briefly, because then what I'm going to do is, well, first of all, I'm going to situate it into the article, and then I'm going to come back to this map. And what I want to do is put pins on these that point to where the different alliance members kind of live. But just by way of a few other explanations, there are two major well, the country of Tierna Bay is definitely multiracial. I mean, and again, this is in a world for a Pathfinder 2 style game. So when I say multiracial, I mean elves, dwarves, gnomes, goblins, halflings, humans, um, and even several others: rat folk, cat folk, tengu, probably a lizard folk or two, etc. They're all kind of scattered around. And in fact, this country has kind of become, about 2,000 years ago, it kind of became um, the gathering point for a lot of the people who were on the losing side of the God War. But not the hardcore fighters, the ones that were kind of sucked into it by their surroundings. Oh, I forgot to mention orcs, and actually orcs are very important because the reason, in fact, that these three names are in red, this whole region of the country is predominantly orc occupied. And the red names indicate these are actually predominantly orc settlements. Those are not their true names. I haven't come up with what their true names in Orcish would be, but those names will translate to what you see there, which are Border Home at the north, River Home in the middle, and Fishing Home at the bottom on the lake. We have a few other interesting things here. This is called Evermist Lake because you see this live volcano over here. This continually dumps lava into the water, which creates clouds of steam, which kind of roll out over this lake pretty much 24/7. Oh, I missed another settlement. I have to give that one a name. I'll get back to that eventually, clean that up. Most of the front end of this, it's human predominant, but not human exclusive. Yeah, the red names are, like I said, I'm gonna be changing those names. They're there right now for almost as a placeholder, and I might change the color. The other important thing to note here is the Waking Delve. This is the mountain under which the dwarves were first created. All right, and the dwarves have these major citadels, undermountain citadels, scattered all around the planet, and they're kind of independent nations on their own. So, for the most part, the humans have learned when they draw their borders to kind of draw their borders around the delves. So even if there's actually a couple of other spots where there's a border that looks like it wants to run right through one of the delves, and both sides of the border just kind of work around it, kind of leave the delve alone. But there's definitely a huge dwarven presence here, and because of that, there's a big significant dwarven presence here. Amethyst Cove is actually one of the major seafarer dwarf ports in the world, and in fact the seafarer dwarves make up one of the alliance members that I've got, and then the rest are all scattered. Now these alliance members, the seagoing portion of my alliance, I should say, are for all practical purposes, they're all pirate fleets. They don't like to call themselves pirates. They consider themselves resource gatherers for their country. The fact that they happen to gather their resources out of the holds of other ships in other parts of the world is, that's just how they do business. So, and sometimes they'll actually even do raiding. So anyway, the first thing I want to do is actually get this map, now that I have it in World Anvil, at least as a placeholder. I might change the map image going forward, but to clean up a few little odds and ends. But at least I have the image and I know what size it is, and that's going to stay the same. So what I want to do is come over here, and like I said, we will be playing with pins on this map. The very first thing I need to do with it is grab the marker tag for it, and then come back over to my article and figure out where I want to put it. I'm thinking for now that I want to put it on the left side of the article. I could embed it somewhere in the middle of the origin section. The origin section is kind of large. Maybe down right about here. We'll see where that goes. Let's play with that and then see from there. So at the same time, that would be here. Now I know I want it to be left, and I want it to be probably no more than 400 pixels. Let's see how that looks. That's interesting. It gave me the space, but it's not showing me the map. It's also taking too much space. Okay, what's going on now? Why is this misbehaving? Do I have the wrong link? Region. It's a public map. I know I can view it. What else do I have to do to this map? Let's try something simple. Let's make sure I'm not messing up syntax here. Let's start with just the map image. Does that work? That works. Okay. Alright, so that works. That does what it's supposed to do. Now, if I'm not mistaken, it's where you want it and then what size you want it, isn't it? It's not the other way around. I know this is touchy. I did have vertical bars in there, didn't I? Oh, does that not work for maps? Oh, that would suck. That would mean I have to put it in a container. Or put it in a section or something. If I wanted to do what I want to do. I know it does, yeah, I know it works for images. Well, I'm not sure if center is going to help because what it's actually doing right now is filling. If I take nothing out of it, it's filling the whole space. So whether this is left, right, or center is basically immaterial. It's occupying the whole width. So I guess what I could do is put it into some sort of container and then let the text wrap around that container. So I could do that. I also want to, I think I can specify what size it defaults to, because I'd probably like it ideally, in fact, to default to, if I could get it to default to that size and then just tuck that over into the corner, that would be ideal. Alright, I tell you what, that's something I can play with. Again, I'm not going to flound. I don't know, unless you folks want to see me do, try to figure out how to make this work. If it'll help you guys do similar kind of things, then I'll do it now on stream. If not, I'll hold off and work on, and move on to the next piece of my bit of work today. Yeah, I could definitely do article CSS for it, just for this container. Why don't we try that? This is a good training exercise for everybody. All right, so I'm going to come over into Design and CSS, and I've already got the piece of CSS. By the way, this is the piece that makes the whole long relationship tree on the sidebar go away. So let's do that. And before I forget, let me grab the other bit of CSS that Isaac found for me. I'm just going to grab this text and then I'll clean it up when I get here. So user CSS, Clotho frame, background none important. And then so let's see if those work. And when we scroll down here, look at that. That's exactly what I wanted. Thank you very, very much, Isaac. I can probably change the color of these. Oh, that's interesting. I touch this and everything goes funny with the colors. That's... what is going on there? Anybody ever see anything like that before? Whoa. Anybody ever see anything like this? If I touch this one, they all go gray. If I touch this one, some of them go gray. If I touch this one, all but those two go gray, but now they all go gray. And I'm just hovering, so I'm not doing anything else, just hovering. And if I do the same thing up here, what happens? Same thing. There's something weird going on with colors here. Does it depend if there's a link? Is it just highlighting the links? Is that what it was doing down there? Oh, is that possible? Let's see. It's hard to tell on this one because that is the color. So, yes, it is just highlighting the ones that are linked. Excellent. Oh, that's actually beautiful. Extra functionality. Thank you, Dimmy. That actually makes it a lot easier to read what's going on in these things. And I never noticed that before. Even better, yeah. Okay, so like I said, I do have to finish There's going to be a gajillion more lines in here by the time I'm done. I just need to change the favorability numbers on this one. They should all be green. I don't know that I'm going to keep both of these things in here yet, but for now, I figure they're there. I mean, this is the one that just shows that everybody is a member of the Alliance and they all like being in the Alliance. This is the one that's more interesting, because this is the relationships of all of the members in the Alliance, and they don't all like each other. Some of them, in fact, will have, as you can see, some of them will have absolutely nothing to do with each other. The Swarm and the Yusaki's Revenge are both predominantly rat folk organizations, and the Silent Shield is predominantly cat folk. They do not get along. Alright, and what that actually means is, they will not do business with each other unless they are absolutely forced to. They will adhere to the requirements of the Alliance. But this Alliance, by the way, what it's really all about is, I'm not going to read the whole article to you, but actually these are the bits that are important. The agreement to the land, the two main things that have come out of this alliance are what they refer to as the agreement to the land and the agreement to the seas. The agreement to the land states that a member will not accept a contract, and this is predominantly the mercenary groups that are members, will not accept a contract to serve an outside interest if that interest's opponent has already hired another of the mercenary groups. For the benefit of others in Tierna Bay, this policy means that it won't be Tierna Bay folk killing each other in some war between two frivolous nobles in a far-off place. The mercenaries realize that there are enough opportunities for them to obtain contracts without having to commit to killing one another, so they're happy. And the agreement to the seas is similar. The agreement to the seas basically carves up the seas of Cartyrion into 5 zones and assigns each zone to one of the privateer fleet signatories. All members agree not to raid ships or coastlines in a region that is not their own. Because the wealth of the regions is varied, and because some are much farther from home than others, the regions are reassigned every 5 years. I need to change that to 3 years, to allow each of the fleets the opportunity to benefit from the good areas. So, for a given 3-year period, for example, if I brought up my world map, which I'm not going to do right now, but if I brought up my world map, the region, there's one really particularly rich region that it's a huge inland or almost inland sea that's surrounded by actively trading areas. So, that's one region. Now, of course, there's risks involved in working in that region. There's lots of shipping opportunities for them to raid, but there's also lots of defense for them to have to deal with. There are other places, though, where it could be a few months' journey just to get to their region. So, this also gives opportunity for each of these organizations to have set up bases in far-off areas. There's other regions where there's not that much shipping, but there might be some interesting land raiding, or at least coastline raiding opportunities. So that's basically what this alliance is all about. As I mentioned before, this country, this mouse wheel is being a pain in the neck. This whole country was kind of made up of the flotsam and jetsam of the losers of a war, of a global war. They spent the first half of the last 2,000 years continuing to fight amongst themselves, and basically not getting anywhere, while the rest of the world recovered from the war. They finally got smart and realized that this isn't going to work, and they started to get a little organized. And while it's still, there is nominally a king, and there are nominally some nobles that rule the land. They're basically ignored. It is the pirate factions and the mercenary factions that effectively rule the country. And they do at least have a sense of nation, or a sense of country, and pride in that country. So this alliance is all about them agreeing to get together to stop doing things to each other that end up holding the country down relative to the rest of the world. All right, so like I said, there's definitely rivalries inside, but their, as you can see, their motto is for the future of Tirna, and they do honestly all believe in that and work toward it. So that's what this is all about. So anyway, well, like I said, the first thing I want to do, I do want to go back into this map and actually put pins on it, or probably hidden pins, or I'll have to see what my choices are, because what I'd love to be able to do is as I hover over, for example, Mist Bay, have, let's see, who is it that's in Mist Bay? When I hover over Mist Bay, I would like to have the Scourge of the Waves crest pop up, because that's who's there. And as I hover over the various other towns, you'll see where the different pirate factions are based and where the mercenary factions are based. Some of them actually will have two. I'm not sure how I'm going to handle that yet, but I'll come up with it. I might have to build an image that has the two crests side by side. I'll have to see how that works. But that's my goal, is to have this map, interactive in that point. Then if you click on any of these, by the way, well, I don't have them linked in now, but I was going to put, I do have articles behind all of these things, and they do have mouse over snippets, which is what I work on in this world. But this is essentially the mouse over snippet, and I have enough room, or word room in the article to clean these up. I do have to do a little more cleanup of these. I want to try to get them look a little more level. I have to fill in the Legion of the Tides a bit more. I might rearrange them again so that they all size nice and look a little better than this. It's a little ragged now because the lengths are different. But that's where that is. So anyway, the other work I want to do on this article is pins in the map and relationship weights. And I think I'm going to start with the relationship weights because they're pretty straightforward and easy to do, and something that I can do during a sprint. So with that in mind, I am going to pop over here. I'm going to get myself ready to go. That should get everybody tagged. Good. And with that in mind, as I said, I'm going to launch a sprint now, so those of you who are writing, please get yourself ready. Catch up on the stream real quick, the chat real quick before I do that. Yes, it's graying out the orgs that it's just connected to. It doesn't do that in yours. Because everybody has that unfortunately is what's going to happen to mine too. The bottom one is everybody is going to be connected to everybody, or maybe not. I'll have to see. I might just do that might even be more interesting. Well, there are some definite relationships though between the mercenaries and the pirates, and the pirates all definitely have feelings about each other, and the mercenaries have feelings about each other. But there are some cross relationships as well. So, still webbing. So yes, I'm going to be making webbing. Everybody else is free, of course, to do whatever you'd like to do in a sprint. And I'm going to launch the timer now. This will be a 10-minute sprint. So those of you who are ready to write, please get ready to go, and we'll fire it up in 3, 2, 1, and go. Timer is up here. Okay. How did everybody do on the sprint? Did anybody sprint? Yeah, all of these logo components, by the way, come from Pixabay. And somewhere I'm going to have to put a credit sheet down. I have it saved I have it saved someplace. But all of these bits and pieces, the axes, the different axes, the mountain on the Fellowship crest, the tree, the village, the ships, the clouds, the shield itself. To be honest, even the polka dots were all grabbed from Pixabay. So I do have a credit sheet that I have to that I'll be applying somewhere into here. There's going to be an awful lot of credits at the bottom of the footnote. At least I hope I saved that credit sheet. I better have saved that credit sheet. I know I spent a lot of time working on it. So, did anybody do anything sprint-wise? Let's see. Dazzly Cat, erased more than you wrote. Interesting. I managed to get all the relationships done for Scourge of the Waves and Isaki's Revenge. So this web is starting to look more complicated. And by way of explanation, you're going to notice one thing. Again, Isaki's Revenge and the Swarm are predominantly rat folk. And the rat folk are definitely on this world the looked down of all of the various races. They're the one that everybody kind of looks down on a little bit. Nobody quite trusts them. And for good reason. I mean, they're not. It's not that they're all inherently evil. They're everywhere. They're in every town. They're in every city. There are respectable members of the rat folk race. But especially in Tierna Bay, they do tend to cluster. There is a town. One of these towns. Yeah. This is called Warren Town for a reason. That's not Warren as in somebody's name. That's Warren as in Rat Warren. That is primarily a rat folk town. By size, it is a relatively small town. By population, it's probably the second largest city in the country. Because the rat folk tend to live very, very packed together. And they're everywhere. So your typical human kind of never feels quite comfortable in Warrentown. And those are the kind of feelings that reflect in these relationships. There's another interesting set of relationships. The Scourge of the Waves is the organization that is predominantly seafarer dwarves. And anybody who's followed any of my seafarer dwarf articles from summer camp will know that the seafarers have weaponry that is superior to everybody else. They have better catapults on their ships. We don't have gunpowder in this world yet, but they have better catapults that can shoot longer, which makes them better for both offense and defense. Everybody would love to get their hands on the secret. The seafarer dwarves, like all dwarves, have sworn to never let the secret get out to any of the other races. So as a result, the seafarer dwarves look upon every one of the other pirate organizations with a fair amount of distrust. Because as far as they're concerned, the only thing anybody else wants is to steal their stuff, is to steal their secrets, not necessarily their loot, but the secrets of their technology. And they're not wrong. So they look at everybody else with distrust. In the meantime, everybody else kind of tries to suck up to them a little bit. First of all, they have a lot of respect for them because they can get their butts kicked. Second of all, they kind of, some of them more than others, will actually try to suck up to them to maybe, hopefully, be on the receiving end of an accidental slip when it comes to talking about the technology. So there's an interesting relationship between the Scourge and all the other groups. It won't be quite so much with the mercenary, although some of the mercenary groups do use the siege weaponry as well, so they would also be interested in obtaining technology, shall we say. The other groups that I did, because I did Yosoki's Revenge, and again, because they're rat folk, most people don't like them, but they are, a little more amicable to the others. So, which is why, again, you see, there's a lot of green-orange type things. One of the other things I'm definitely going to need to do, and I have a feeling everybody else has this problem, as much as I hate to go with a plain white background, I think I need either a white or a black background so that these lines will show up, especially since so many of them, like, anything with a zero relationship, it's a yellow line and you can barely see it here. I think this wants to be on either a black. You know what might work? Well, except of course the silent. I might have to adjust the silent shield to have a different border. If this whole background were the color of these boxes, what would that do? First of all, it would look strange that the line suddenly disappeared. Because, I mean, the lines would be in front of the background, but the text box and its border would be in front of the line. So that would look strange. So I guess it wouldn't work to be exactly the same dark gray color. But I need a different color background so that these lines will pop a little better. I'll need to think about that. Pure black might work. Okay, Isaac, here's the next quick project for you. What's the background container for diplomacy webs? If I want to change the color of this background, I'll track that down. See, this is what's great about streaming. I mean, you get a lot of help. Tillers, if you're still here, I love working on character sheets when you're around because I know if anything funny or glitchy shows up, it gets fixed. I hope it doesn't sound like I'm using these, or misusing these relationships. I think it's great that we all work together this way, though. That we're all kind of watching out for each other and helping out. Because I'm sure anything I come up with, image and appearance-wise, is something that somebody else is going to want to do too. Maybe not with the same colors and the same schemes, but with the same general approaches. So while Isaac is looking that up, I'm going to launch another sprint, and I am going to try to get a few more of these guys done. I want to get the last of the pirate organizations cleaned up, and then we'll go and address the mercenary groups. So I'm going to focus on the Raging Storm, and the Legion of the Tides, and the Fellowship of the other three. Let's start with the Legion of the Tides. Okay, everybody ready that's going to be sprinting? Let's fire up a sprint. And we will start that sprint. I got 2 more follows while I wasn't paying attention. How about that? Thank you very much. Who is that? Let's see. Sudayan. I think I thanked you already. Thank you for yours. And Nathalia Books followed me as well. Thank you very much, Nathalia. Just 2 more to go, and then I'll have to change my goal. That's a wonderful thing. Okay, it is sprint time in 3, 2, 1, go. 2010 loading. the spring. How did people do this time around? As the cat, did you right forward instead of backwards this time? Let's see. Had to get funky because we can't use the word container. Spartango taught me real fancy stuff. Let's get back and see it. Class star, Clefacon, background black. Alright, let's try that and see what happens. Control C. Square brackets around that. I'm gonna have to look up what the carrot sign. Okay, what does it mean? If the orgs aren't public, then the sprint is scrambled. The sprint is me scrambled to make stubs. Good. That's okay. That's something that has to be done. So, Dazzlecat finished a plot point with the cool factor chosen. Flip-flop voice and music volume. Oh, I forgot to. Sorry. Thank you. Yep, forgot to turn off the sprint settings. Okay, we have the latest bit of Isaac retrieved funky CSS. Let's see what it does. Do a save changes on that. We will refresh the article. And look at that. Now look at those things pop. What do you think, folks? Does that look better? I think that looks better. Everybody, ooh. Yeah, I think that definitely looks better. It certainly makes the yellows. It certainly makes the yellows stand out. You know, from the background. Now we can see who likes who and who is not so sure about who and who hates who. So I think we will go with that. And I've got most of this thing done now. I've got, let's see, this guy's done all around. This one's done all around. I basically have to make my way around some of these other ones. As long as somebody lights up, I know I'm not finished. As long as somebody goes gray, I should say, I know I'm not finished. Wait, how did? Oh, that's right. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, it should be if I focus on the 5 pirates, I should basically just have to deal with the mercenary relationships with them. Yusoki's done. Scourge of the Waves. I need to do the 4 that are grayed out are the mercenaries. So that makes sense. The 4 that are grayed out are the mercenaries. That makes sense. Again, that makes sense. And I just did that one. So I just need to add the mercenary groups here, here, and here, and this web will be complete. Pardon me just 1 second. Okay, we're back. Okay, yeah, I think this looks really cool. Everything pops. The colors definitely pop now. So I will thank you for that. Like I said, it's a shame that I can't put the words the boxes. I mean, I probably could with Z's, couldn't I? With Z indexes. Because the only thing that would make this look cooler would be if the name, although on this one it would get a little messy. I think it would disappear. And the problem is the words themselves would end up going behind would go behind the line, so I don't want to do that. If I put those backgrounds to be black also, though, you'd end up with this funky barrier, unless I put a border around it. All right, what do we think? If there was a white border around these boxes, the text boxes, and then the text box was a black background itself, I think it would still stand out. All right, Isaac, you want to go diving one more time? You want just as an experiment? Can you find the container that the words go in underneath the shields? Yeah, see if you can grab the selector for the box that the text goes in. All right, I don't know that I'm going to end up keeping any changes to it, but it would be cool to know it's there. And in fact, what I'm going to do before I forget is I am going to come back over here. And we're going to make some comments on here so that in case anybody else wants to pick this up or I move it around. This first one was make the box behind the organization symbol disappear. Firm believer in comments. Oh, she found it already real quick. All right, we'll pop that right in and we'll see what happens. And then we'll play with it. So I'm going to copy that. They found it real quick. Sorry, and one of these days I'm going to... That'll become second nature. I'm really trying, Isaac. I really am. Sorry. This is hopefully going to be... Okay, so we have... Yeah, there's a black background. That'll give it a simple border. I might even round the corners, but let's try this for starters, and then we'll put in a border radius. Let's put it in right now. What do we think now, folks? That definitely did the job. Yeah, I think that actually does look better. This one is simple enough, but more importantly, it looks distinct enough from the default web, and that's kind of what I'm going for here. I want to be a little different. So the only other thing I could think of doing that might be interesting, and maybe in the long term I'll play with this, is now that I know how to change the background, if I put a background image in here that was basically a black center that kind of like reverse sunburst out into lighter colors around the edges, that might be interesting. Or even better, that became transparent so that the page background would show up. But that I'm not going to do on camera right now. That's something I have to build. I'd have to build the image to do that. That might be a lot. That might be a fun little exercise. And of course, it wouldn't work if you grow this up and down. But that might be that's about the only other thing, because these things are all circular. So maybe I'll play with that going forward. I think it might be a nice touch to the article, so that we don't have these sharp lines around the outside edge. And I'll play with that off camera. But I will keep people up to date. And again, anybody who wants these CSS chunks, you can DM me in Discord on the World Anvil site. You can find me there. I'm Dinosaur Bob without the RPG on Discord. But anybody that wants copies of this, and I will make sure, in fact, before I forget. That's right. You got me this one too. So. Sidebar. Credit where credit is due. Isaac, what's your handle in? I know it's not exactly Isaac A. Tom. What are you in World Anvil? Is it just Isaac Thomas, I think, or Thompson rather? Is there an A in there or not? That's what I thought. I will give credit where credit is due. Like I said, anybody who wants a block cut and paste to this, send me a DM and I'll get it to you eventually. Okay. And if I make any other little additional tweaks, we'll take care of that. So I'm going to fire up one more sprint. I am going to try to take care of another one or two of these guys.
Remember all the happy times.
Let's start with the Scourge of the Waves and get the 4 mercenaries in on them. And for those of you that are sprinting, we will fire off the sprint now in 3, 2, 1, and go.
We're very much alike.
Remember all the happy times we had.
is up. Time is up. That was a quick sprint. Oh, I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this. The Silent Shield is an interesting mercenary group. They're basically an elite hit squad and spy group more than cannon fodder group. So they actually get work with the other groups a lot. So I'm trying to see, you know what, actually, they're going to have a lower opinion that way, but these guys will probably have a higher opinion of them. Actually, not so much the Bloodsingers. The Dedicated Axe will. So let me get this last one in here. Let's see what this looks like now. This web's getting messy, but that's the idea. Okay, so the Silent Shield has got all of its tentacles out. The Swarm has all of its tentacles out. Venge does, Scourge does. This is only missing one. And this is only missing one. And that should do it. So all I need to do is come back here. Say the Dedicated Axe. Diplomacy. Add the Bloodsingers. And they just have a basic, yeah, they respect each other. They each do what they do. I do want these things to all say Wolf's Bay, though. Uh-oh. was the end of them. Yes, that's all done. Okay. Let's clean up a little here. Okay, so we should have reached the end of this world. Okay. Let us view this again. Uh-oh. Why is it not letting me do this? Save changes. Is it down? Or just the presentation side? Yeah, possibly. Because the editor came back. That's working. Isaac, CSS 101. Classes in session, yes. Probably a little above 101, maybe 201. Yeah, I've seen those constructs before with the caret and the equal. It's something like I know star equals is anything that includes this as a name. The caret is a limited inclusion, I believe, without actually looking it up. Well, let's see, while I'm waiting for that site to come back. Let's see if this works. Can I do... That's just bringing me the generic one. Yeah, I've seen that one before. I've seen the tilde equals. And I know there's a star equals. There it is. Select every element begins with. Alright, so that's begins with HTTPS. That's interesting. That was the test string. Okay. All right. So the caret equals is begins with. That's good to know. All right. So what's the difference between? Oh, this is for individual elements. Okay. Got it. Okay. See that we all mastered something. DM Stretch, well, my Discord is now a community server. Good. That's good, I guess. Let's see, have we got a world back yet? Or a view? No. Well, that's going to put a damper on the last 15 minutes of this stream. So what did we get done so far today? So far today, we got done... I got the map installed, although it's not the size I'd like. I'm going to have to put a container around that. Well, maybe we can play with them, except I can't see how it's going to look. So, we got all my diplomacy web stuff done. We all learned a lot of very interesting CSS related to diplomacy web, so that we can make... So everybody who's on this stream can make their webs look a whole lot cooler than everybody else's. So keep that in mind. All right, you learn good stuff with Dinosaur Bob. All right, and that's because Dinosaur Bob has excellent teachers hired on staff. Thank you again, Isaac. We are alerting Timmy now. Hopefully, is it just me, by the way, or is anybody else having the same problem? I just want to make sure it's not this stupid article. Actually, I could test that by just trying to bring up any other article, couldn't I? Yeah, no, it's okay. It's all of them. All right. So it's not me. I didn't break something. Okay. Okay. So, what do we want to do for 10 or 15 minutes? What can we talk about? We can talk about Synergasia. We can talk about Game of Tomes. Why don't we talk about the Game of Tomes? You know what else I'm going to do before I forget? Everybody, you've got 15 minutes to do this now. Everybody, grab your channel points, go into your channel points, and do the choose an emote, and make sure you grab the raid emote so that when we get ready to raid whoever it is we're going to raid, you're all set. All right. Yeah, Isaac, you get it already. So yes, if you subscribe, you don't have to do the channel emote thing. You'll have it all the time, and you can use it everywhere. Other than that, you have to stop by every stream and pick it up again. Yeah, so everybody make sure you have that, and feel free to use it on everybody else's raids as well after you give their normal raid call. I have there's never enough dinosaurs in the world. So, what was I starting to say? Yes, Game of Tomes. I am definitely sponsoring a minor house. You can see the logo right there up on top of my head, my crest and banner. The motto of House Sauropoda is Evolve. Because if we do not evolve, if we do not continue to learn and expand and grow, we will stagnate and die. The way that's going to work is sometime in the week before November 1st. First of all, I will have to appear on the stream on one of Danny Adventures streams, and it's Danny because I'm choosing in week 1, since we essentially have the same. We use pretty much the same time slot for our streams. Although right now we kind of take alternate days, so we're not interfering with each other now. But I am thinking about, I'm going to be expanding my schedule a little bit during Nano. And I will tell people now, starting in December, it is my intention to take the Hefe 7-day challenge, or 31-day challenge, I should say. I'm going to take him up on that. So I will be modifying my stream schedule for December for Worrldbuilding to include 7 days of streaming, at least an hour or two every day. Some of my streams might get stretched a little too. I know Isaac and Siobhan and I were kind of chatting this morning. We are going to make sure that there is no gap between Siobhan. I know writer Greg fills in a big chunk of that, but we're going to make sure that after all of the time zone change mess settles out, that there's not going to be any gaps in the schedule, at least during November, during Nano. But anyway, if you are working on Nano, actually, whether you're working on Nano or not, I don't think that's been clarified. Does it have to be people doing Nano projects for the Game of Tomes? I don't think so. I think it's just words. If you're on my streams, we will be doing lots of sprints that month, because that's what everybody's doing. It does have to be writing, yeah, because it is word count that matters. There's no way to record, I built a map, you know. But if you're, first of all, anybody who's participating, there's going to be a bunch of new options under the channel emote redemptions. and they will be one channel point in which you can use to record your individual sprints. All right, and the reason we're doing it that way is because the streamers, we get there's a screen that comes up that basically keeps track of everything that gets done on the channel points. So we could then use that to build a report, and it's documentation that here's what the words you entered. And the way it's going to work, each of the major houses will have their own redemption button. Under whether it's under my stream or even one of the again, all of the majors will have all of the majors. So if you go to any of the streams from one of the major houses, you will find 6 emote buttons or 6 redemption buttons under the channels, worth 1 point each, and they'll say, pledge to House Apis, pledge to House Lepus, pledge to House Mollusca, whatever the other 3 are. If you come to one of the minor houses, like mine, you will find a 7th button that will say pledge to House Sauropoda. While you're doing sprints on my streams, you do not have to dedicate your time to me. Just as if you were doing sprints on Sable's stream, you do not have to dedicate your words to Sable. All right, you can choose to dedicate them to any of the houses that have a button that's represented there. If you do dedicate your words to me, since I am a minor house, they will in turn be passed along up the line to the house to whom I have sworn allegiance for the week. And in that first week, it will be Danny Adventures. All right. I have no idea who it's going to be in the second week. First of all, Danny might not survive the first week because every week one of the major houses gets eliminated. So if Danny doesn't survive and we do, then although if Danny doesn't survive and I'm pledged to her, it puts us in jeopardy as well. But assuming we survive, we can choose to switch allegiance and go with a different house, or we can stay with Danny, or but every week I have to decide who I'm playing for, basically. Again, you as individuals can either play directly for any one of the houses, or you can play for me if you're in my stream, and therefore, by virtue of my pledge, pass it on to somebody else. So that's the mix. Yeah, they randomly select. It's not so much that they randomly select the pledged houses. If I've pledged to Danny, then I and all of the people that pledged to me get thrown into the pool along with everybody that pledged to Danny. And 1/3 of those names get picked to join the Undead Horde. So that's basically the way that works. All right, we're treated as if we had simply pledged to Danny. Now, and by the way, if the house if I go down, if I end up on Aaron's team, then I have to take down the house banner, and I have to obviously take down the emote or the channel redemption, the channel point redeemer button for it. But the other 6 buttons will continue. Actually, the other however many there are buttons will continue to be there. And each week there will be fewer and fewer choices. There will be one added for the Undead Horde. Anybody that is informed that they are a member of the Horde, you have no choice but to dedicate to the Horde. All right, and they're going to keep track of that anyway. All right, so the Horde will continue to grow. So, so I think the rules say I have to take down my house banner. I'm either going to take it down or I'm going to gray it out. I'll do something with it, obviously, to make it clear that it is no longer an active live banner. I could change all the colors. I could just go to black and white scale, and leave it up just to indicate that I'm still kind of playing. But now we're we're no longer evolving. Maybe I'll change the motto to be something like "rot more slowly" or something. I don't know. You need to get a shield background for yours. If you look, there is a resource. The shield and banner that I'm using here, Shy Red Fox plucked them off of Pixabay, and they are on. There's a resource page for people that are playing. It includes anything and everything. It includes the major house banners. I would suggest you go with this style for the minor houses. That way, it's easier to distinguish them. But you'll find the templates for the shield and the banner ribbon on the Game of Tomes page, which I do not have handy, but I can probably bring up quickly. Let's see if notifications page is working, and it is. But that's not working. Okay. You know what, though? But I got the link. So I'm going to put this link in here. Anybody that wants to try to copy this. And I see Isaac beat me to it. But there it is. Yeah, in the words of Homer Simpson, though. Yeah, so you might want to just copy that link and look there, but you can get the resources there. That also there will be all of the channel redemption buttons, all of the icons that you need to build the channel redemption buttons. We can build those anytime we want now and just leave them inactive until November 1st. And then on November 1st, just remember, anytime you stream after that, remember to go turn them on so that they're there. And there might still be another tweak or two in the rules, but I think we have it all pretty much down. They have also made provisions for people to have minor houses that aren't streamers. So if there's somebody you know that is doing a lot of work and you want to support them, that becomes an option. I assume that means that somewhere they're actually going to try to tally. Originally they weren't going to, but they're going to actually try to keep separate tallies for the minor houses, just so we all get a feel for how we are doing relative to each other. Just as part of the competition per se. Please keep in mind this isn't really a competition. The only objective, Sable has said she wants to see 1 million words recorded across this whole game by the time we're done. Yeah, there's a ribbon in the assets. There's both types. Everything you see on mine is available on the asset sheet once that page comes back up or once we can view it. Yeah, so again, this isn't a competition. We're actually all here to support each other and help each other get more written, and those of us that are actively doing nano to hit our nano targets. And this is just kind of an incentive game to make it more fun to do. So that's where that all is. We're almost up at the top of the hour. Who is supposed to be up next? Let's see, I can always dump us over to Kahuna, because he's up. At the moment, that's it. Normally, it's C.D. Toblin, but I don't see him up yet. So we'll give him a minute. Can somebody check the schedule, please, and see is he supposed to be up? to be after me. Wanted Heroes said they were going to be up an hour ago. They're not. Or are they, and I don't know? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Let's find out real quick. I may not be following Wanted Hero. Fantasy world created by the author. This is the Wanted Hero I want, right? This is the Wanted Hero I want. They're not up. But if they're on this channel, I should be following them. So let me at least put the follow on. Yeah, okay, it's definitely the right Wanted Hero. While Wanted Hero is out, check out Kahuna the Elder. Okay. Okay, so we will be raiding Kahuna. And that pretty much does it for today. Is the system back yet, by the way? I want to see one last look at that thing, if we can. Ah, it is. It is back. Excellent. So let's see what we got here. Like I said, we got the map in. I got this CSS cleaned up. We got some really cool stuff going on with the relationship webs. I promise, like I said, I'm going to work on the background for this and see if I can put together something that looks a little more. My objective is to basically have a black circle that fades out into transparency, so that whatever the background is shows through. So I'm going to work on that. I still have some word work to do on this article, but I'd say I'm within a day or so of having it all wrapped up. I have about as many words as I need. I just want to clean some of these things up a little bit. I have a little bit more to go on the internal politics. I might cut a little bit out of the origins because it's kind of long. But the internal politics are where the fun part of this whole thing is, because like I said, this is an organization of people that really don't like each other for the most part, but have worked together because they have to. All right, so let us go on a raid. We will raid Kahuna. Everybody should have their raid emotes ready to go. Thank you all for coming. I keep forgetting to put up my thanks for watching screen, which acknowledges that I actually have Patreons and Twitch subscribers. Gives you a quick run on my schedule. Again, thank you everybody for coming. Hope everybody had some fun and learned something. If you want copies of that CSS, send me a DM in World Anvil and I'll get it to you. Thank you again for that, Isaac. It's always wonderful working with other people in this group. Yeah, you know what? That is now my raid call. Evolve. There it is. I've been looking for a good word to throw in there, and that's going to be it. It's going to be Evolve. Thank you, DM, for that idea. So my raid call is Evolve, but use the emote as much as possible. And we're going to head off now in 10 seconds. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and off we go.